Jay here for Stretford, Paddock. That's Stephen Howson. This isn't the Brew, so we are going to be talking about football, Steve. Forgive me, even Manchester United. But we thought we'd have a little bit of a chat because we know that United have struggled for goals this season, right? That's old news. But I've been looking at...
That's pretty much all me and Joe talk about.
It's mad, isn't it? It's like, why aren't we scoring? Why aren't he scoring? But I've been looking, right? And I was watching some of our old videos the other day, and me and you've been talking about this for years.
1991 Cup Winners' Cup final.
That, and let's not go down where we're going here. We will end up turning this into the Brew, and I'll get in trouble. Like, I remember one of the first...
He's in Japan, he ain't going to know.
Yeah, that's true. I think he's in Japan without his luggage as well, which is sad to see.
Hilarious.
I remember me and you and an old Nag's Head talking about Lukaku coming at United.
Yeah.
Remember you were like, I want Lukaku. Now, on paper, 42 goals in 96 games, okay. But we know he turned into a meme. It didn't work out. Let's not pretend. Then you look at some of the other strikers we've had and attackers, then you think they flattered to deceive a little bit. Martial did okay. By the age of 27, he's done. Even some players that you look at and you go, Juan Mata, I know he's not a striker, but an attacker, did well, but was he quite the same player you saw at Chelsea? Maybe, maybe not. Then you look at others we've got. Sanchez, me and you were laughing when we signed him. He basically ended Matteo Darmian's United or Premier League career at the Emirates. Unbelievable. We get him, other than the game against Yeovil, not much to shout about.
His announcement was that good.
I don't want to depress you, but I will get to my point quickly. More recently, and I'm not trying to be harsh because there's still chances life in his United career, but Rasmus Hojlund, 72 million quid. He's gone this season, 21 games he went on a run without a goal. It seems like we've just consistently struggled to get not just attackers, but mainly strikers in who can do what we need them to do. Why do you think that is? Is that, this is what I want to sort of ask you about. Is it just bad luck? Are we not looking at the right style of play? Is it changing managers? Is it all of the above? When you look at it, why do you think we've struggled so consistently? Even when we've gone for players like Lukaku, who was Premier League proven, relatively young, and would have fitted the Jose Mourinho system perfectly, yet didn't quite live up to expectations.
I'll push back on the overall, we just haven't signed good strikers in the last 10 years, because I don't...
Sorry, go on.
Because I don't necessarily believe that to be the case. Did Lukaku work? Yes and no, is the real answer to it. Did Cavani work? Yes and no, is the real answer to it. Did Ronaldo work? Yes and no.
You're going to say Zlatan in a minute.
Yeah, and obviously Zlatan Ibrahimovic, did he work? Yeah, yes, actually.
I think that second scene for that injury was...
Yeah, the only problem with Zlatan is he was really old. That was like, if we'd have bought him 10 years earlier, he would have been he'd have been a United legend. I'm actually certain of it.
A young Zlatan now, Jesus.
Anthony Martial, did he work? Yes and no. Rashford, did he work? Yes and no. Like, Sanchez, no. And at the moment, Hojlund is more in the no category than he is even in the yes and no category. It feels to me like there's... Lukaku might be the one where you go, why did that one in particular not really work? Well, look at where we came with him, realistically. He scored it wasn't Mo Salah numbers, where you're talking goal a game, but a goal every other game.
42 in 96. It's burnt into my memory, bro.
It's near enough a goal every other game, isn't it? So... And there was did he go 10 games scoring on the bounce or with a goal involvement?
His first 10 games, I think, at United, he scored something like 9 goals.
Yeah.
Then the issue is you get into that thing what he kind of did a lot of, where he went his next 9 games with 1 goal. So on the whole, you're looking at it going 18 games, 10 goals, whatever it is.
He came back
That's good,
from the World Cup heavy, didn't he?
Yeah.
That was a real issue, I thought, from him. And I do think, to a greater or lesser degree, the chopping and changing of managers didn't really help. It was Jose that signed him, obviously, and was it Jose that got rid of him in the end?
No, Ollie.
Was it Ollie that got rid of him?
Because remember, he was paid in Paris when you were smashing chairs in here.
Oh yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he weren't great actually at that point.
No.
But and I still believe the best football we have played in terms of the raw football was under Ollie. Like, that was the closest thing to what Manchester United football is. I saw under Ollie. The third man runs, the kind of relentless attacking. He had more 5+ goal victories than like every manager between him and Fergie combined. Like, he had a tactical way of playing where he required it to. we were not that far off in quite a short period of time under Ollie. And I think to a greater or lesser extent, it's been a little bit of a lack of patience, a little bit of a lack of proper depth. Like, it felt like, certainly under Woodward, which I've said some clumsy things about in the past, but I think, like, on the whole, his recruitment strategy was led by shiny things over what the right things were.
I agree.
Hence why you had back-to-back summers, which were blockbuster summers, where you brought in fucking Paul Pogba for a world record fee, and then Lukaku for 75 million following it up. Oh my days, like party time. You know, I think those days are long gone, mate, to be honest with you. But the thing is, when you do buy world record players and players like a Lukaku for 75 million, which doesn't sound like a lot of money now. You get quite ordinary players for 75 million, sadly. But at the time, 75 million did mean...
It was one of the most expensive transfers, I think. I think it might have been up there with any transfer between two Premier League clubs. I might be wrong on that, but it was at the top end. We know that. It's certainly, I don't know if it was a big...
Before Chelsea started buying everyone for 100 million.
Now
anyway.
that doesn't get you anyone.
But, like, you know... He and Paul Pogba were always going to deliver a level of a performance because of the money that you invested into him. And, you know, there is almost kind of, you're not getting utter dog shit when you spend that sort of money. You might not necessarily get the perfect thing, but you're going to get a level of something. But it was kind of like a little bit, maybe not with him specifically, but you'd kind of gone through such a flip-flopping of styles, you know, from... Moyes didn't really sign anyone, let's be real.
No, by the time Matt comes in, he's already on his way out, isn't he?
And, you know, I'm seeing all this revisionism about how Klopp left a team and Fergie required, like, well, why didn't Klopp win the fucking league then, for starters? How about that?
Yeah. Only one of them won the league in his last season, and it weren't Jurgen Klopp.
Yeah. Like, Fergie wasn't allowed to refresh that team, quite clearly. Fergie finished with his last 8 seasons with a profit on transfers. 8 seasons, Jay, and delivered everything in that 8 seasons, barring FA Cup, I think. He was clearly not allowed to. When you look at how Fergie did the previous 8 seasons to what he did the 8 seasons post the Glazers coming in, he just wasn't allowed to refresh that team. So when you get to the point where David Moyes, Divering Dave, brings in Fellaini, and I think he's given a one matter. I don't think he wanted a one matter. And then you get Louis in, who for some reason decided he didn't want Tony Cruz, which...
Feels like a sliding doors moment, that, for me.
Done it?
Yeah. It really, honestly, life is a bit different at United if Tony Cruz comes and joins that midfield and Louis van Gaal has him
and of all those
away.
people, he's like, no, I know him. No. What?
Right, honestly.
So, you know, obviously, under Louis, I thought United were very good in big games. We were just boring. So if you'd have brought in some creativity, I know, like a Paul Pogba and a Zlatan, Louis might have ended up being a success, but you give Louis van Gaal 2 years in a team that required, probably not quite the heart surgery it's required since, but a team that required a lot of work.
Yeah.
You still had a Carrick, you still had a Wayne Rooney, but you required a lot of refreshing going on. And you didn't really get that. You got a Schmidfield, you got a Darmian, you got a Daley Blind, decent little players. You got a Memphis who didn't work. That was your little gamble one that could have been really good, but actually wasn't. But you didn't really get your Zlatans and your Pogbas and your Lukakus. I think if you'd have got them, Louis might have been able to go on and do something. But you don't. You bring in a Jose. Everyone Dutch now needs to leave because he doesn't like him because of Louis. And you have to go through this complete change. Now, Jose made us a bit resilient, successful, a big team. You know, he brings in like Matic and Pogba and Zlatan and Lukaku. Now we're Big Boys FC, and you're thinking, right, we can have a fucking row now. And you start to see something starts to develop. But like everything, when Jose don't quite get his way, the wheels comes off, it starts getting a little bit toxic. People aren't enjoying the fucking football. You bring Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in, now you've gone from fucking one direction to the next direction. Ole gets given like a Van der Beek and people like that, which I don't really know if he wanted. He then gets given a Sancho and a Varane and he absolutely gets told he's getting Cristiano Ronaldo. Again, Cristiano Ronaldo comes in and individually is fine, but what he offers and allows the team to do is slightly off, a little bit dysfunctional. And for whatever reason, it upset the apple cart in the back end. I still don't know if we'll ever get the truth of why that actually happened. I'm not saying I know the truth. I'm just saying the narrative don't quite align for me about how all that went down. And you just think, we've not had the patience, and we've not had the right profile. If you'd have had a Hojlund while Zlatan was here, I think you see the best out of both of them, because Zlatan gets Tuesday night off and he gets to go and emulate Zlatan on the Tuesday, and he's good for it. And then he comes off after 20 minutes, he puts Zlatan on for the final 20, and you have a bit of a structure to what the team's doing. I also don't think having... There was a little bit of an element of this when it was like, if you shut Paul Pogba down, no one else was creating in the teams that he was in. And I think you have a little bit of that now with Bruno. If Bruno gets shut down, which... Jesus, if you're the opposition, you go, right, so we're playing against a team today that don't really score a lot of goals, but they have the guy that creates the most chances in Europe. Are we going to play against them? Well, we're going to fucking double mark the guy that creates the most chances in Europe, and then they won't score any goals. And you'd be like,
we saw that a little
brilliant
bit.
plan.
We saw that a little bit with Ahmad, didn't we? Remember when Ahmad was flying? Maybe was it Wolves away? And it was like they put half their team on him. And it was just like, hang on a minute. Now we've run out of ideas, because he was doing everything like last few games. So I completely agree with that. You keep mentioning the word patience. Do you think that if we are patient with Ruben Amorim, we give him the time that Jose and Louis, for different reasons, didn't get? Do you think we can get success and obviously give him the right strikers as well, whether that's Hojlund or another body coming in, which it looks like we are going to be at least in the market for someone in the summer, because we need to fix this problem, don't we, somehow?
I always think managers need more time than they get.
Remember me and you talked about this, even with Louis van Gaal, you wanted to see that third season with him, didn't you?
Yeah, and... apart from Jose, because I thought once Jose decides he's off, just fucking get rid of him, because he ain't going to turn it round. And actually, when Ole, I felt, didn't feel like he had the ability to turn it round, you might as well get rid of him, because the belief is an important one. Louis, I think, thought he probably could have done it. He probably still thinks he can do it, and he might be right.
Yeah,
he might be wrong. The problem is whether or not I believe Ruben Amorim requires patience is irrelevant. And Ineos with Nice haven't really shown any patience. With Dan Ashworth didn't really show a lot of patience. With Erik ten Hag didn't really show a lot of patience. So what the fuck makes you think they're going to show any patience to Ruben Amorim? And when they've got a £2 billion stadium that they want Champions League football played in, you tell me why you think they're going to give him any patience.
All right then, let me rephrase that final question. If they were to show him patience, have you seen anything enough from Ruben Amorim, both at Sporting, what you've seen him trying to do at United? I know he's only had 2 signings and we've seen him for about a month, so that's a bit, premature. But do you feel that he can be the right man?
Yeah, I think there's something about him in European competition, and maybe that system really does suit European competition, and the slightly, half a step pace slower, better, because we look so much more organised, so much more secure in European competition. Can he adapt that and figure out what the difference is and what the tactical tweak is for that for the Premier League? If yes, then yes. But I also don't fully believe you stop people eating soup at Carrington and then back the man as he's going to be required to be backed in the summer.
Stop being practical and logical, Steve. No one likes it when you're like this. Eh? Just be deluded and just say, we're going to sign loads of players.
The 21 is coming.
Yeah, the 21. Where's McCullough when you need him? That's a good little chat. Just a little bit of a reminder on how things haven't been great for Manchester United and some of the reasons behind it. Yes, you can look at the managers and you can look at some of the decisions they made, but also the club as well haven't made the right decisions, have they, over the years?
They just haven't. Why did we sign Sanchez? And when you sign someone that's on, depending which newspaper you picked up, 7 trillion a week, there is a pressure on him to be played. And if you didn't fancy playing him in that particular circumstance, and you would have preferred a winger maybe to play off whoever, that can upset the apple cart. And you didn't get the player that scored 30 odd goals. I don't know what happened in the post.
It's mad, that, isn't it?
Yeah.
That player we played against in Emirates was unreal. And he wasn't
not even
old.
just the one we played against. The one that played that entire season was ridiculous.
He was 29, wasn't it?
And when he came, I was like, oh my, you can probably find a video. I was deludedly happy about us signing him. And then when he played, it just was like, And do you know who we haven't mentioned? Falcao.
Don't. I remember,
because there was a moment when Falcao...
View at Old Trafford when you went, Falcao's coming on. I remember that. It was so exciting.
There was a moment when Falcao was the best striker in world football. Yeah. It didn't coincide when he played for Manchester United, unfortunately, but there was a moment when that player. That Atletico striker was as good as any striker I've ever seen.
He was the striker you thought as well. That's what United need. And that's what United fans will love. He had a bit of everything.
Do you know, I met him at the Lowry. And
was you stalking again?
Yeah.
Good lad.
Yeah. I was in his shower. I got
up to this back in the day. Hanging around the Lowry.
I got a picture with Jaden and him. And it's mad because... the way he posed for the photo was really funny. Like, right. It was cute. Like, it was like, I don't think anyone clocked him. It was like the day after he signed, and he was like proper posed himself and fucking did his hair and shit, and like it was mad, man. And like he didn't have a fucking clue about English, but I was genuinely so fucking giddy with excitement. It's fucking Falcao, mate. Like,
even though it's mad, isn't it, with Falcao, like, even though he was pretty awful for us, I don't know, have a little bit of a strange, soft spot for him.
Jay, I saw him score. Was it a lot? No, at all. But I did see him score.
That's enough for me. Do you know what I mean? We're easily pleased now, man.
Was it Villa Park away? I think he slid right in front of us. Me and Mako was talking about you could see his knee fucking sliding the floor in front of us.
Falcao, Radamel. Had that chant as well.
And what a fucking chant, by the way.
I know. Remember we started using it from Romero as well, didn't we? No, I'm not into
it. It didn't work.
It didn't work.
Oh, fuck off. That's one that I wish would have worked.
I know. There's a few in there, but he looks so ready and so perfect for United.
The problem with him is like
maybe,
this is where United
player.
hadn't really done our fucking scouting, and us as fan creators were too fucking giddy to be arsed. Really, he hadn't. I think he played like 8 games. 15 games, something ridiculous anyway, since his knee operation.
Yeah.
And then we were like, we'll have a bit of that. I mean, you got to think the warning signs are there when you get him on loan.
But it's just that I remember Craig Norwood, when he used to be Tier 1, when he used to bother with it, messaging in our group saying, Falcao's coming to United.
No, he's not, Craig.
That's what we were saying. Shut up, you Nick. And he went, that's his flight. That's when he lands. It'll get announced then. And he was right on everything, because this is when Craig had just started being like that guy. And we were like, and just seeing those words, Falcao coming to United, just thought, yeah. No one, like you say, no one was checking how many games he played since a very serious knee injury.
No, just touching me cock.
We'll leave it. That's the perfect way to end it, the perfect line. That's been Stephen Howson. Go and check out his channel and all the videos on there. You know where to find me as well. This has been a bit of a look at what's got wrong at United. You tell us. Get involved in the chat, in the comments. See you in the next one.